And here we are again, back for another Friday with Trey's Chow Down Live. And, of course, I always have somebody in the studio with me. And today I got Mr. Rex Benson in the studio, which we're going to talk to here in a minute. Rex, thanks for coming in, buddy.
Hey, not a problem.
Yes, sir. So we're going to talk a little bit about hot topics first, as usual. Tonight, we've got if you haven't got your tickets yet, you can still buy tickets at the door. If you're anywhere around Fort Worth, we've got the Fort Worth, Texas Magazine Best Of Party. And it's going to be at River Ranch in the Stockyards, which is going to be a really neat, fantastic party. You got two bands, all kinds of food and chefs. But tomorrow, that's the big one. We got we've been working on this for almost a year now. It's the first annual Wagyu Roundup and Beef Cook-Off. We've got 18 celebrity chefs. We've got a bunch of teams. Wagyu Beef, Wagyu is sponsoring it, and they've given us all the beef. So the chefs are going to compete, and then the teams are going to compete for $2,500 cash and a trip to Belize.
That's not a bad deal.
Yeah, we got a lot of people's interest with that deal.
I bet so. I bet so.
Yeah, and all kinds of prizes so everybody's happy.
Yeah.
And then I want to thank my new syndication partnerships for BigStar97.com and TheBull103.com and WKYNRadioRocks.com. That's WKYN 1073. They are re-airing all of our Trey's Shutdown Live shows during the week. Thanks a lot, guys. Really appreciate it. And we've got some more of that to come. So now we're going to get into the heart of the business.
All right.
With Rex Benson.
I like it.
Man, thanks for coming in, Rex.
Hey, anytime. Appreciate it.
Rex is the owner, operator, and head dishwasher.
Yep, that is right. Head dishwasher, head host.
The parking lot sweeper.
Oh yeah, hey, whatever it takes.
That's right,
from front to back.
That's right, for the famous Ol South Pancake House. And we're going to kind of talk to Rex a little bit and get into kind of where it all started and where it is now, and the exciting news we got for everybody. Which, if you don't know now, you're just not watching social media or TV or anything. And that's all I know.
Yeah, we got a little project coming up in front of us.
Yeah, we do, don't we?
Yeah.
Okay, so Rex, so you've been in business. Your dad started Ol South. Mm-hmm. When did Ol South start exactly?
1962.
1962.
Mm-hmm.
And the first one was there on University.
Correct.
Right. And he had at one time. How many did you have?
There was up to 5 at different times. Yeah, we had them, Camp Bowie and Jacksboro Highway. They were spread out, and actually there was one in Dallas. And just through over the years, they kind of moved on and stuff.
Yeah, I remember I ate several of them. My dad was friends with your dad.
Sure.
I remember that. As a kid, I ate a few of those. Of course, that's maybe showing my age a little bit, but
right.
That's how it works.
I know it.
So, did your dad ever talk to you about where you got the idea for starting Ol South?
Well, the way it actually, believe it or not, it was a different restaurant. Like when he came in, like the way it was set up, it was actually an operating restaurant. And when it came in, it had breakfast. And they just changed the name to the Ol South Pancake House. And,
so I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so it was it was just a little mom and pop little thing, and and they'd only been open a month, didn't even know really what they were doing, and he kind of came in, and then he got a sister, and they said, well, we're going to get in the restaurant business, and that's as simple as the way it happened.
Yeah, I really think it was a lot simpler back then. My granddad started that way.
Sure.
Great granddad started that way. But people were a little more forgiving, and it was a lot less expensive to get into it. Nowadays, it's just chaos to get in the restaurant business.
It is.
So how long was it? So I guess it evolved over time.
Mm-hmm.
How long before it started open 24 hours?
It was pretty much 24 hours from day one.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah, it started 24 hours, and and then it moved. Technically, with where the current building is located today, that didn't actually move into that building until 1973.
Okay.
And so that was actually a Tandy building in the current existing with where it is now. And so we moved into that building in 73.
Was that a bowling alley?
It wasn't. So there was a bowling alley that was connected to the building. And they pretty much, they peeled it off like a tin can, like a beer top. They just literally the way it was set, and that bowling alley. And a lot of folks that hadn't been there in years, they'll come back and they'll go, I think there was a bowling alley somewhere. And
it was Cowtown Bowling, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was right. Yeah. And so it was peeled off, and then that was back in '95, I believe, is when they can
do some amazing stuff.
It was pretty amazing,
nowadays.
No doubt about it. Yeah.
Well, if someone told me you're going to peel a building off, I'd be freaking out and be like, oh, whoa, wait a minute, what's going to happen here?
Right, no doubt about it. Yeah, it's definitely above my pay grade. To do something like that.
That's you hire professionals to do that, right?
Exactly.
So 24 hours. Ol South has become quite a phenomenon. But before we talk about that, we'll talk about that a little bit later. I want to go back. Growing up, did you work in Ol South? How did it?
I did growing up. When I was a kid, I probably started to seat and greet people when I was about 4 years old.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah, and so that was one of the first things I did. And then I started to learn how to kind of take the money at the register. So they'd sit me up by the cashier, and I would try to, say thank you, come back and see us, and things like that early on. So just kind of grew up in it when I was a kid.
I started at 4 years old too. I started in the bathrooms. My dad was a stark believer. He didn't care if you grew up in it or you were family. That was worse.
Sure.
To him, you clean toilets. If you got that right, then you move on to something else. But that's the way I think you learn the restaurant business. You can go to school all you want to learn management, but you're not going to learn restaurant operations until you're actually in it and you do it day-to-day operation. That's
no doubt
my
about
opinion.
it. No doubt about it. And learning the glamour. The glamour part is the easy part, but the tough part is where people kind of earn their stripes.
That's right. I take some over experience. For me in the restaurant business, I take some over experience for somebody just out of college with a degree in a day. For me,
no doubt about it.
So you started at 4, and then kind of tell me how it evolved. You went to school because you were away for a while, right? And you came back.
Yeah, I went away for a while, and I kind of did my own thing. Obviously went and went to college and graduated from Texas Tech, and then and then I came back and was actually kind of in the real estate and
that's right,
in the real estate business and mortgage, and and when I say that, I'm always the business was always around, along with my sister Pam and and the family, my mom and everybody. I was always in the restaurants even when I was doing my other stuff, and so it was just kind of in the background all the time, and then it evolved. Obviously the way it started. It started with my dad who originally, then he brought in his sister Bette, and then they were partners for a good it was 85, and she passed away in 84.
She was the first one to pass away.
She was the first one to pass away, and then my cousin Marvin came in, Betty's son, and they were partners with my dad, and then my dad passed away, and then my mother was partners with my cousin, and then it is evolved in our.
He always
family.
wanted family in there to watch everything.
Correct.
Watch the kiddies.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, that's the first thing that in any restaurant. If you're not there, if you're absent, you're not. It just doesn't work.
We talked about this just a while ago. Cameras make it easier, but you still got to be there.
No doubt about it.
You have to be in the restaurant.
You do.
I don't care. You just have to be there.
No doubt about it. Just the presence.
When he started multiplying the restaurants, what do you remember? I know you're young. Do you remember what the second one was? What the second one is? Hang on. Were all the other restaurants he bought, or did he make them Ol South?
Well, they were either Lone Star Drive-ins, and so that we had another some other restaurants as well. The Japanese Palace, which my sister currently operates now, and that was in '73 when that started actually.
Right.
And the Lone Star Drive-ins turned into the Ol South Pancake Houses, like the one that was on Jacksboro Highway. And so what he did was it was the first university on the Ol South, and that started to have success. And so when the Lone Star Drive-ins, he started to see the success and the concept of the Pancake House, and so then he started to flip those over to Pancake Houses.
Did he ever tell you? Did he ever give you any inclination, or do you have any inclination what the reason success was? What created the buzz? Why everybody liked Ol South?
I obviously, when my father passed away, I was 8 years old.
Yeah.
So that's always been kind of one of the things that I never, got the real opportunity to hear the big business.
I didn't know if you'd heard over the years or not.
But I heard, through the family and through my sister, my mother, and things like that. They would always, tell me about how, some of the most important things as far as, what drives Ol South, and it starts really, the German pancake, and that German pancake.
I'll tell you,
that thing really has. That started.
Every time I post a video, I have 2,000-3,000 views. I mean, in a matter of a day or two, and people and lots of comments. People love those things.
Yeah, they're definitely
delicious.
They're worth the price of admission.
I sure wish they were sweet though.
Yeah, I know it. I keep telling everybody we're working on a fat-free version, fat-free, sugar-free, but we hadn't quite perfected that yet.
Yeah, right. Fat-free, keto,
keto version. Yeah. Well, we'd really be getting after it then.
Boy, you wouldn't be, would you?
I know it.
If you could make that happen, you'd be a rich man.
I know it. I'll tell you what. Yeah,
you could sell that recipe.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
So when did the German pancake come into play? That was going to be my next question. Kind of how we played into that.
Yeah, it actually was early on. It was right around in '63. From obviously.
Okay.
I clearly wasn't around at the time.
Yeah, you weren't.
According to the story.
Right.
My father actually, there was a little small mom and pop little restaurant in here in Fort Worth, and I do not recall the name of it, but it was a small German immigrant family that had it. And from my understanding, it was about a 3-table place.
you could survive on that back then.
Yeah, exactly. Different times. And so they brought it out, and he had it, and he pretty much went to the lady and said, "Look, whatever this is, I need the recipe for it." And she was like, "Oh yeah, sure." And it was simply, she wrote it down, and he took it back to the guys in the kitchen and said, "We need to make this," and that's how it started.
Ain't that crazy?
Try
that today. Go get somebody's recipe.
Right.
Something they got successful they're selling.
Exactly. Yeah, go try that.
Machine gun against the wall.
Exactly. Yeah, you get escorted out of the building.
Yeah, you would be.
No doubt.
But times change. But so that's kind of neat. I didn't know if it was, I was always curious. As much as I've talked, we've communicated stuff and seen each other. I've never asked really. And I asked my dad, he said, I don't know, you know? So that's neat how it started. Yeah. And now the thing is you're selling those things. You're selling prepackaged. You can buy them where?
Well, you can buy them online as well as in the store as well.
Right.
So that we started that about 3 years ago.
Yeah. Any grocery stores?
No, not yet. So we started down that path originally and got excited about it, and we started getting contacted by some of the bigger folks on that.
It'd be a lot to produce,
and it was a lot more than what I thought it was going to be. And so we have shelved that, and then possibly going to go back to that a little later.
That's okay, because at least you didn't bite it off and then have a big failure, because then you'd been in trouble.
Right.
It'd have been a financial disaster.
No doubt about it. Yeah,
that's good. So Ol South has become kind of a cult phenomenon. It's a follow. Everybody loves it. I don't have no one ever says anything bad about Ol South. I mean, when you're out walking around, you talk to people love Ol South. So it's just kind of become a phenomenon in Fort Worth and in Dallas Fort Worth area.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's neat.
We've prided ourselves for the years of like, look, we're not perfect, but at the end of the day, what we try to do is do the best we can.
Yeah.
Keep that family environment the best we can, and just keep trying to do the very next best thing. You
ever pull up to your restaurant and look at and go to the parking lot and have that line strung around the building and go, oh my God, does not faze you anymore?
No, that actually pretty much happens pretty much weekly or daily.
No, it does.
Yeah, that's one feeling that never goes away.
Yeah. Because you freak out. You don't know if there's something wrong. You don't know if they're getting seated properly. You don't know if something's backed up in the kitchen. So yeah,
we've learned to function in chaos. We call it structured chaos.
You know what? You and I talked about this last year when we were at the food bank doing. Y'all donate your time to the food bank to the culinary school, and we talked about this controlled chaos. We talked about it.
It is.
You have to be, I guess, because you have so many people. How many people do you have in that kitchen?
Well, I mean, we'll run
during rush. What do you have?
I mean, we'll have 7 to 8 line cooks, and then we have 3 expos and 3 preps. I mean, we run on a Saturday or Sunday morning on our total floor. We'll run between 44 and 46 total.
Yeah. So you and I were talking about the line cooks. You said control chaos. What happens if your ticket jams up for 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and your tickets get backed up? Are they just when you're that busy, how do they solve that problem? What do they do?
Well, they do the best they can. I mean, there's no silver bullet. There's no quick, easy button we get to push.
No, there's not.
Those guys are so trained and so good at what they do that, when that situation does come up, we kind of know we go into crisis mode. We kind of know when our tickets are doing that. If something does happen, and it does happen. I mean, and so what happens is we do the best we can. We start working from the oldest tickets back, and then just trying to get ourselves out of the weeds.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And you have how many? You have 5 different separate dining rooms there?
4.
4, okay. And y'all, when they're all filled up, how many people sit in Ol South? I mean, customer-wise?
Well, that's a funny thing. Our capacity is about 325, but it really depends on how well we're doing maintenance on our chairs. That can fluctuate about. We've always got about 7 or 8 chairs under construction or reconstruction.
The wood chairs.
Yeah, the wood chairs.
Okay.
And we have some wood chairs, I believe, that have probably been around there from about the beginning.
First of all, they don't make them like they used to.
They don't.
So those chairs would last. But that's funny. You said chairs in construction. I never thought about that because they take a beating.
They do.
Because how many? You turn chairs a lot, obviously in the Ol South. So I never thought about that. That's funny.
Yeah, we push about 11. We push around 10,000 to 11,000 people a week through the door.
Isn't that crazy?
So it's 24/7. It's it keeps them moving. So those chairs definitely take a take a beating. So they're in constant
chairs under
repair.
construction. That's
chairs
funny.
under construction.
And it's not like you have a whole lot of room to keep a bunch of extra ones anyway. You're hemmed up on room there. There's nothing you can do with it.
Right.
So what is your favorite thing? What is your favorite thing about Ol South? Like if someone had to ask, someone had to pin you down and say, Rex, what's your favorite thing about Ol South? What would it be?
Well, my favorite thing really is it's the history. Right. And what you just kind of alluded to earlier was, I have such the respect of, my father and the family of what he was able to accomplish at that time frame, and to see the success that he founded and did is, that's my favorite thing about it. And you kind of get that nostalgia. And so I have that burden, kind of on my shoulders in that regard. But that's my favorite thing, is just the fact that I have such a deep found respect for the fact that people like it. And it is such a good feeling to see and hear people get excited. Like, we've, not off topic, but we were on vacation.
You go off topic. I'm ADD like crazy.
I know it. I believe me. If you're not ADD in the restaurant business, you will not make it.
Yeah.
I've got some good buddies that are CPAs, and I'm like, boy, you would not make it in this business.
They can't.
No, they're going to be more
They
focused.
would go. They die.
Right.
They have a heart attack. They can't do it anyway.
But when you go, like, you're out on vacation. I had a buddy of mine sent me a picture. He was on the beach in Hawaii, and 2 people had Ol South Pancake House shirts sitting on the beach in Hawaii.
That's great, isn't it?
That was the coolest thing. When he sent that picture,
cult following.
Yeah, when he sent that to me, it sent chills down my spine. I was like, that is awesome.
Wait till you have an airplane with an Ol South on the side of it.
Well,
not your airplane, but like a American Airlines. Someone goes, hey, let's put Ol South on the side of it.
Yeah, that'd be neat.
That'd be, wouldn't it?
Sure,
be neat.
No doubt.
That true advertising, wouldn't it be?
Yeah, it would. No doubt about it. For sure.
As long as it's not a 737 MAX, should be all right.
Right. I know.
So, and what is your favorite? What is your, like? You obviously eat there. What is your favorite thing to eat at Ol South when you're?
Well, that's twofold. What's best for me, healthy wise, and what my favorite thing on the menu is a buckwheat. We call it kind of our Elvis concoction, and it's a buckwheat pancake that has peanut butter chips and bananas on it with our maple syrup on it.
Really?
If I had to pick one sweet thing, that is my sweet tooth.
Okay, explain that. So it's a pancake.
It's buckwheat. Yeah, it's a buckwheat waffle.
Okay, it's a buckwheat waffle
with peanut butter.
Okay.
Peanut butter chips.
All right.
And bananas with maple syrup on top of it.
That sounds good.
It is real good.
That sounds delicious.
It is very delicious.
Not sweet at all.
No, a little sweetness, not too much. But my day in and day out regimen. I try to stay with some of the egg white omelets and some of the stuff. We've got the tri-fit omelet that it's avocado and egg white, and kind of got to keep my petite figure in the restaurant business. We know how that is.
Yeah, when I was in the restaurant business, it was hard for me not to nibble all day long on stuff. Hey, just by second nature, you go, hey, let me try it. Is that going to be good? What do you got there? So it was tough, man.
Oh, for sure. Our guys, and they're so phenomenal. But like when we make our fresh biscuits daily, and you smell them, you go by, or bacon.
Yeah,
bacon is my
grab
nemesis.
a piece.
You go by, and next thing you know, you're like, I've just walked by here about 11 times, and I've got 11 pieces of bacon. No wonder my cardiologist is always on call. So but yeah, that's always a tough deal.
But you can't listen to me. I always say, if somebody doesn't like bacon, you better watch them. They're shifty.
I agree. I don't know how you couldn't like bacon. I could eat bacon on anything.
Smell alone.
No doubt about it.
So there's 7 guys in the line, and we hit on this a while ago. There's 7 guys back there. Mm-hmm. You make everything fresh there. Everything is made in house. So, like, what time do they have to get? Well, obviously they don't ever go home. Do you have one guy that just makes it? Just keeps
multitude of folks. We've got several prep guys, and and that's one of the toughest things in our restaurant, which is different. Is the prep, and the fact that we are, being 24/7, we serve every menu item all the time.
Yeah,
and that is, and for anyone in the business now, that's a tough task to follow, and so we're constantly rotating. We have a constant rotation program and things like that, and that is one of the hardest things to do. But we different times, obviously during our peak times, because we only have a certain amount of room, so we have to kind of we make our guys comes in and he makes biscuits at 4:30 in the morning, and then they'll kind of do them in the afternoon during our lull time. So we just have to. We got to be creative. We just can't be doing a lot of prep and things, and in the back in our prep room. But
in the busy times,
mm-hmm.
You ever run out?
run out. We have historically, yes. Now, I knock on wood. We've never run out of eggs or bacon or any of our staples, which they kind of know. But things happen. We've historically, you run through a little more volume than what you anticipate, and
it's just different with Ol South. Is a different animal and a different beast versus like a steakhouse or a Del Frisco's or anything, because it's so slammed at a certain amount of time and so many people, and you have such a huge wide menu.
Sure.
The array of menu things is just absolutely insane.
Well, and that's, we talk about this a lot, especially internally, that we have 3 restaurants under one roof, and it all happens within 24 hours. So the contrast of, the volume ratchets up in the morning, and then we kind of slow down into more of a cafe dinner, right. A slow down time frame. Right. And then we kind of go through that lull of slowness in between the 10 and 11 o'clock, and then we get into the bar run.
Yeah. And I was just fixing to say about 2 o'clock, 2:30.
About 2 o'clock. Then here comes the freight train right through the front door.
I'm going to tell you something. I've sat there and watched. I've been there at that time of morning. Not that I was drinking, of course.
Early morning. You're there early morning.
Yeah,
not
early
late
morning.
at night. It's early morning.
Yeah, early morning. Yeah, early morning. There we go.
Sure.
Early morning. And I have actually come in when when you stole my service company for the restaurants. I'd come in there at like a 3:30, 4 o'clock. I'd meet Sam from Fort Tire, and I used to see people in there just, oh my God, it's funny. It is a show to be had, man.
You can sit in the dining room, and
not that we want you taking up any seats in the dining room now. We got need them, but yeah,
right. But that's the one. That is the dynamic part of Ol South, is that you can see every walk of life, from the the top of the political chain to the you have everything in between, and and that's what makes Ol South what it is the fact that it is such a diverse group, and
everybody accepts it.
Yeah,
everybody accepts it. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah, so it's pretty neat. But that overnight, it's like a freight train. You go from sitting there nice and quiet, and then here they come, and everybody's in a different frame of mind typically when they come in around 2 or 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah, a little bit,
a little overserved. Or
is that from 2 to 5, or what time is it?
Yeah, it hits. It's really probably about midnight till about 3:30 or 4, and then you kind of hit that lull between that 4 and 6 a.m. time frame.
Then it comes again.
And then you come in the morning. Then you get ready for the morning.
And then on the weekends, it's just Saturday and Sunday. It's pretty much from all the way, right?
Yeah, we roll in through Friday night, and then it starts Saturday morning, and then we hit our Saturday. They kind of hit us steadily all day long, periodically, and then and then into the Saturday night, and then we wake up, and then our.
Wait, you actually sleep?
A little bit. We nap. That's what we talk about. We nap. We don't sleep. We take naps.
That's right. Yeah, we nap. Yeah. My dad, my granddad, my uncle used to go out, and he'd say when we were at meat company restaurants, he'd go out and just take a little nap in the truck, a little hour and a half. Now he said, "I'm good. I'm good."
Hey, a little power nap is good. Sometimes if you sleep too long, it gets you groggy.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah, but and I think we're going to have to get more into the naps and stuff with kind of what we have.
When you have coming up. Yeah, I know. We're going to talk about that the second half of the show. When Colonial's in town or a big event like that, what does it do to your business? Obviously, it's a shot in the arm. Is it just the whole time it's there?
It is. It's a steady shot from early during the week. You get a lot of folks that obviously from Monday on. You get a little more diversity. A lot of the guys from out of town coming in to watch the tournament and stuff like that. But it's always a little bump and stuff like that. And and periodically you'll see a random, golfer or a lot of caddies and different stuff like that. Yeah, so it's always fun. We always love Colonial Week.
They want to come in. They want to come in and get their fill of the Ol South.
I know it.
It's a cult following. Where'd you eat Ol South?
Yeah. Well, and Colonial's done a really good job. And it's just kind of the same thing with the stock show and the rodeo. That historically with what we've done, they've started putting a lot of food options on site for them. Sure. So there's not as much of that.
Right. That started changing about 5 years ago. Yeah.
Right. But we still get a lot of the traditional folks and guys that are coming from out of town. They'd rather come eat at Ol South and then make their way over.
Yeah. We're gonna go to a break real quick so we can pay some bills, and they're capitalists around here. And we're gonna come back and talk about what Rex has got going on Spoonie. See you in a minute. Bye.
Why have thousands of aspiring authors teamed up with Christian Faith Publishing to publish their book? Because Christian Faith Publishing is an author-friendly publisher who understands that your labor is more than just a book. We provide authors freedom and flexibility throughout the publishing process, professional book editing, award-winning design, and some of the highest royalty structures in the publishing industry. And as always, you will retain 100% of the rights to your book.
I was looking to find a company that I could trust, one that assisted in the editing process completely.
The most important qualities that I was looking for was a publisher who was honest and upfront, no hidden costs or fees, and owning the rights to my own work.
Christian Faith Publishing will publish, market, and sell your books in all major bookstores, online booksellers, as well as specialty Christian bookstores. Call for your free author submission kit.
800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. That's 800-978-4812.
Never Forgotten Apparel is more than just a premium women's and men's clothing line. It's a movement to remind us to wear American-made and serve those who serve us. Our heroes. Never Forgotten Apparel gives 20% of their total sales to nonprofits that support homeless veterans and off-duty firefighters, and 50% to individual veterans and firefighters in need nationwide. Check out neverforgottenapparel.com. Use promo code MATT, M-A-T-T, and get 15% off your purchase.
Dr. Ken Brown here, host of Gut Check Project with my co-host Eric Rieger. I've seen in my practice that Atrantil is a whole lot more than just a bloating product.
Yes, it does a whole lot more than just fix bloating because of the polyphenols that you find in Atrantil.
What are some of the things that these polyphenols do, Eric?
These polyphenols can help you have more energy, and polyphenols are great for athletes.
It sounds like it's going to help a whole lot more people than just bloating. Go to lovemytummy.com/Spoonie.
Okay, and here we go. We are back on. I got call looking at emails.
That's all right. It happens. You gotta say business is always happening. I was just looking on my cameras to see how they were doing at the restaurant.
Yeah, that's funny, isn't it? You got to stay busy. All right, so if you're just tuning in, I want to tell you one more time about tomorrow. We've got the big Wagyu cook-off, and if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area anywhere, Cleburne all the way up to Paris, Texas, it's in Midlothian at Blainstone Lodge. It's starts at noon and goes till 10 o'clock tomorrow night, and it's all Wagyu beefs and sides, 18 celebrity chefs, music. They even have a bar pass for like $45, $50. You can drink all you want to. I'm not saying I would do that. I'm just saying it's an option.
The option is there.
The option is there.
That's that's good to have options.
Yeah, if you don't want to drink water, you want to drink something else, options there.
Right. I kind of like that. It's good to have diversity and a little options out there.
That's right. So we're here with Rex with Ol South Pancake House, and we got some, if you haven't heard, we got some exciting news. I'm going to let Rex tell you about it. Rex, tell us about it, start to finish.
Oh, boy. Well, we were moving, we were going to do a second location down in Burleson, Texas.
Yeah.
And so we're going to be down there off of I-35 in Renfro.
In that shopping center there.
Yeah, right next door to the Rio Mambo and the Rim.
Yeah.
And so we're excited. Down there, there's a lot of good folks coming down there. You got Heart 8 Barbecue coming down there.
Right.
And
that area right there where you are.
It's going to be right there on the same exit. So, it's really creating a really good vibe down there with Heart 8, with everybody like the Rim, and, they're going to be there as well with Brent just bringing on the Buttons Keith Kicks. That's big news.
Yeah.
I saw that. That's
gonna bring a lot of people down there, believe it or not.
It is, and I'm really excited about that. I don't know how good that's gonna be good for my diet, but I'll tell you what, that's gonna be really good for Brent and those folks over there. That's great. And Rio Mambo next door, and and then you have Babe's Chicken that's right down the street. It's a great cluster of good operators
and all different concepts,
without a doubt. The guys, the guys at Babes, they're phenomenal. The Vineyard family, those guys are as class acts as they could possibly be. You know, so Brent, all of them. I think in the Heart 8, it's really exciting. So we're moving down there. We're going to be about a 260 seat capacity location. We have in the center, we've got Fish City Grill that's going to be coming in. I like them by us, and so we're excited about that. So there's a lot of good diversity down there. So there's a lot of different concepts, and and gives people options, and so that's what really drove us down there. The city, was very proactive,
accommodating.
Very accommodating. Alex Phillips, the business development.
Shout out to City of Burleson. Burleson, yay!
Yeah,
okay.
Burleson, yeah, rock and roll.
Yeah.
But so we're really excited. We're nervous, but we're excited.
You're nervous. The cool thing is that you're emulating the Fort Worth Ol South to a T. Same wood panels, same color, same everything, because you don't want to lose the allure and the attraction of Ol South Pancake House.
Right. If we came in with all the fancy stainless steel this and all the nuances, that's not who we are. We have a distinct of who we are, and we wanted to make sure that we stayed exactly who we are.
I thought that was. I was down there for the groundbreaking. That's a big piece of real estate there. Y'all are digging up, and
it's gonna. Like I said, the project's it's a good sized project, but we're really really excited about it.
How far along are they now?
Well, so we've had a few slowdowns in that regard, and we kind of
sure the rain hadn't helped.
Well, rain didn't help and things like that, and we really kind of had a tentative date that we were really trying to hope to be able to get accomplished before the holidays,
right?
And that's not feasible at this point. So what we've done is we've moved back our scheduled open date to March 1.
Okay.
And the reason why we've done that is because, with the holidays and the things that kind of, that go on at university and just anyways, we're only going to get one chance at a first impression down there. And we want to make sure we get it right.
Yeah.
And so we've slowed that process down. And then it gives us the opportunity with university to go through the holidays. And of course, with stock show and rodeo, and then it gives us the opportunity
to
breathing room and get our focus and our mindset right. And
you'd be like a guy with a noose around his neck, hanging from a board with one foot on trying to keep from killing yourself if you did that in the middle of holidays.
You're not joking, believe me. I can tell you. So that's why we really kind of and it's funny because our builders, typically in this world, it's like, hey, build it as fast as you can.
Yeah.
And then I went to them and I said, you know what? Let's slow it down and do it March 1. They looked at me and thought I was kind of crazy, and they were like, we don't normally get that. And I said, well, we only get one chance at making the first impression, so we want to make sure we hit it and do it right.
For somebody who's building their second restaurant for the first time, what's your biggest fear to you?
Well, it's the number one. It's the fear of the unknown.
I figured you're going to say the unknown.
Yeah, it's the unknown, just merely because it's the unknown. I mean,
you don't know what's going to happen.
We don't know what's going to happen. I mean, we can best plan for it, and we can spit out pro formas from here to the end, and we can do this and try to plan for that. But we know what we're doing at university. We've just now got the hang of it after 57 years. We still have our days, but
I know,
But so it's the fear of the unknown. I think we're excited about it. We just want to try to be as prepared and accommodating as we can, just because
the great thing is where you're putting it with all that pull, that you have the traffic won't be a problem. Actual traffic for people getting there is not going to be a problem. And people, all the comments I've seen from, where I was at their opening day and everything I posted, people were just like, they wanted it bad. They've been waiting for it for a while.
I tell you, they've
needed it for a long time.
We had, and that was one of the things Alex said from the business development. He said it was one of the largest ribbon cuttings that they've had down there. And that was an eye-opening experience for us, because the outreach and the support and the excitement that the community has given to us was
big time.
Made my hair stand up. And in that day that we were out there, and I had I got up and I talked in front of those folks, and I was looking at all those.
Were you nervous?
Oh, I was nervous. I was real nervous. I wasn't thinking, they kind of told me, man, maybe 50 or so people may show up. I think we had 400 or something number.
Band
playing, and it was wild. So I mean, with that many people, I got up there and stood, and everyone was staring at me.
Had you ever been on stage before?
I think in the past. I don't really recall.
It's tough. It gets a little nerve-wracking.
You get up there and everyone's staring at you, and you're wondering, like, all right, do I have something? Do I have a spot on my shirt? Or, but no, it's good. But that's what it is. I mean, that fear of the unknown. Trying to train these folks. That's another day-to-day issue that restaurateurs
imperative. They got to be trained.
Got to be trained.
When you unlock that door, they got to be ready.
They got to be ready. And that's a tough day in and day out battle as is existing. Just training folks and people in and out, and the willingness for someone to work. That's one of my biggest things is I'll take someone, like what you said earlier about the experience. If somebody's got the want to,
that's right.
If somebody has the want to, that to me is the most important part.
Yeah, my granddad called the WTs the want tos.
Yep, the
That's
want
what
tos.
you got to have.
You got to have the want tos. If you don't have that, you don't have. You know, you can have all the talent in the world, but if you're going to sit back and point fingers and not really get in there, then it doesn't do you any good.
And also too, a big thing we have today, and this, I'm not knocking anybody or anything. I'm just telling you what if, because I ran restaurants for 40 years, and I know we have a big problem now about face-to-face communication with emails and texts. People that are growing up have a tendency to not have the skills to do face-to-face communication, which is imperative in a restaurant or any kind of retail field where you're compressed for time and stress all day long, bam, 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 bam.
Yes.
You've got to have not only to deal with your employees, but for God's sake, to deal with your customers.
No doubt about it. I mean, and that is a real issue. Like some of our younger employees and stuff like that.
You can't learn that in college.
No.
College teaches you the opposite, just the opposite. You can't. You've got to. They need to have face-to-face. And I've said this, and people think I'm crazy. They need to have face-to-face communication in classes in college. I mean, and even I think in high school. Because it's gone way. It hasn't just drifted a little bit. I mean, it's way far the other way.
It has, and I mean, and we look. When I'm looking in the dining room at the restaurant, I'll look out at a table, and there'll be a father, a mother, and 2 children. And all 4 of them are on their phones, and I'm like, I wonder if they're all texting each other. But that's a lost it's becoming a lost art. You don't see that day-to-day communication nearly as much. You'd be amazed on how many families that have technology sitting at the table, and there's just that day in and day out communication when they're children. So they're not getting trained in high school, and they're not getting trained in college. So when they're getting into the workplace, it is a distinct issue because they get up there and they know they can text you and they can do all that, but they can't say, "Hey, welcome to Ol South. How are you?" Pat somebody on the back and say, "Come on in."
And like you said, they're not even learning at home because at home they don't get it either.
Right.
And it's just such. And I people that I'm not. Again, I'm not knocking anybody. I'm not pick on anybody because sometimes situations are different. But people that grow up in the country or in the rural areas that work on ranches and farms and raise wildlife and raise livestock and stuff tend to have a better understanding still now, younger generation, because they're face-to-face communicating with people all the time.
No doubt about it.
With animals, with teachers, with people going to shows, with equipment, with people working at ranches or working at farming. It's a different, because you can't use it. You can't do all that on a phone.
Right.
So it's different.
No, it is. No doubt about it.
And I always say, I wish that all the kids today, where they were in the city or where they're rural, that everybody for 4 years was an FHA and had to raise an animal, some animals of some kind, little animals, big animals, because I think it teaches a whole different perspective of what you have to do.
Sure, no doubt about it. Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
So what? So how many menu items you have on? How many pages on the Ol South? 7, 6?
Well, we've got a front, back. It's 5 really.
5.
If you look at the way the fold is.
Yeah.
So it's 5, and we've actually
have you
narrowed it down.
Okay.
We've cut it down. Historically, we had I think up to almost 360 different items of stuff.
Jesus.
And we just and we really started doing that whenever we became automated, when we went to the POS system.
You start putting all the stuff in the computers.
Which, let me tell you this. let me tell you the story about from us going from handheld tickets to a POS.
Oh, let me hear this story.
Yeah.
This is gonna be good.
Yeah, You want to talk about learning how we've been doing it the same way for 48 years.
Right. By hand.
7 years by hand. Handheld tickets.
Right.
Written down by different scribble and different ways they write it down. And you have different communication barriers.
Right.
I could tell you all the issues that incurred. Well, when we brought that POS system, number one, our POS company said this was the hardest and biggest IT build that they had to make because of the fact that we have so many modifiers.
Right.
How do you want your eggs? You want cheese on it? Would you like a side of hash brown? There's a lot of different modifiers, and so out of all the years, they said it was a really, really big deal. But
you had a lot of old school people that have worked there a long time. But there are a lot of those people been there a long time.
Yes.
And you had to train them, and they weren't computer savvy anyway.
No, and that was that was very, very tough.
So
very tough.
How'd it go? So how'd the transition go?
It was interesting. We had plenty of bumps and bruises, but we had servers and stuff that have been with us forever, and they didn't even have a flip phone, and so trying to teach somebody from a technology standpoint to go from what they've been accustomed to doing for 20-something, 30-something years. Looking back, if I would have known
you'd have done a different plan.
We'd have done a different plan. We might have still be doing handheld tickets, but we obviously made the decision, and then we had to stick with it, and we went through with it. But
how long did it take to iron yourself out? A month?
Oh, no. 6 months to a year.
6 months.
6 months to a year. Believe me, and I'll tell you, we had our bumps and bruises. How do I do this? We were camped out at the computer stations and just trying to show them how to do this. Well, how do I turn this on? Well,
the problem was not, I don't think as much, it was so many variables in your menu, so many items and so many things you could do for each item.
It took us a year to get our system right, and then to have people operate the system. We had glitches in it and different things. Well, every time I hit this modifier, it jumps me to here, and how do I follow this? And it was a daunting task. But I tell you, but what that produced for us, we'd never had any idea.
Yeah, you couldn't track anything.
Couldn't track anything. We had no idea how many.
It was all a swag, a swinging ass gas is what it was.
You're exactly right. That's a good one. I'm going to use that one.
No, that's what it was.
No, it was. No, that's fact. Believe me, I'll tell you, we didn't know how many German pancakes we make. How many people do we run through the door? I don't know. A lot.
A lot.
It was kind of like
a bunch.
A bunch, so that's kind of the way we operated. And so that took us 2 years to just take the information and try to, what is this?
Yeah.
What do we do with this? You know, but we made.
But now you have it though, and you
now we have it, and it's now we've got it down pat now, and everybody's functioning.
I used to tell my managers we make them take food costs weekly. And if they were a bad manager, if it's a bad food cost, we'd make them do a short food cost daily at the end of the day.
Right.
And we weren't 24 hours. Of course, we had one 24-hour restaurant, but all the rest of them were not 24 hours. So it was I always say, I'd say, how do you know? Well, you got swag, you swinging ass gas, and they'd all say, oh, that's a good point. Well, because that's what it was.
Sure.
If you don't know what you have, what you're buying, what you're selling, and what's being stolen, you don't know what's going on.
No, you don't, and you'd be amazed on how many folks that basic premise that blows right over their head. But that's the foundation.
They don't even understand it.
No.
They can't understand item in, item out. Did I get enough money? Where's my money going? Well, if you do your numbers, you might be able to figure out where your money's going.
Right. Yeah.
Is Leroy putting it in the cooler back in the trash can back there when you're not looking? There's all kinds of stuff happening in restaurants.
And that's one of the big things though where technology has been a big help is that they've advanced some stuff now that we're using another system now on top of our POS that gives us the ability to break down my food cost on a daily basis automatically. It disseminates, it extracts all the information out of the POS, and it took a long time to build it, but it takes all of our menu, all of our recipes, calculates everything that goes into each item, and accounts for it and puts it daily. And that is that's like seeing the wheel for the first time. I mean, it's such a breath of fresh air for us because typically when we get our reports and stuff like that, it's after the period end, and we look at okay, food cost high, food cost low. Let's look. Well, now we're going to have the ability to look at it. Why now? Dissect it. Go find it today. Not find it a month
because
from now, it's too late.
It's too late. You've spent so much money. So much money's been gone on the air.
Yep.
Also, too, is a good thing is with the automation is your labor. You can track that labor by the hour, which is super important because, my granddad and my dad both, they were dad especially. You could walk in a restaurant when they were younger. You could tell, and one of my dad's operational guys, and I think it was in West Texas. When I was young, he used to walk in, he'd say, "Y'all smell that? What, you smell that? What? That's labor burning. Get somebody out of here." But that was a distinct thing that he knew by looking and quick calculation in his head.
Sure.
But you don't do that anymore.
Right.
And you can't because, especially there's no way in your restaurant with the size operation you run to do that. But you can punch a button and say, "Hey, I'm overboard with labor right now."
Yeah. And we have an app. It's like
an app
for it. We have an app.
You have an app for that.
We do. We have our POS app on our phone that we can actually look on, and I can tell you real time. I can pull it up and show you, and you can see exactly what our labor cost is right now, real time. How many people are on the clock? What who's where? What time they clocked in?
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff, and I have it right at my phone. And
but it's great. But that's not all you have. So you can look at your phone. Can you tell your food costs on your phone or no?
No.
You get videos? Okay, so
yeah.
you can tell your labor cost, and then you can also look at how many. You have an app on your phone for you can look at everything in your restaurant. How many cameras are on that?
Oh, between the 3 different DVRs, I think we're up to about 38 or 39 cameras.
Yeah, and can you look at all those from your phone?
Look at that. Yeah. So I can look. I can get an idea on my phone, look at it visually, and then I can pull my POS numbers to see what they're doing in correlation to what's visibly going on the cameras, and it gives you ability to virtually manage, from from afar.
And the biggest thing is you can manage your customer service aspect too from that.
Sure.
If your restaurant's packed, if things are going haywire, which is also good for you.
Well, and it gives me a good indicator. It gives me a little tip as if I'm driving in.
Yeah.
What am I about to drive into?
Yeah.
Am I about to walk into a forest fire, or is it, or is it nice and easy?
Yeah.
What am I about to get into? But it does because
get your mindset.
Gets my mindset. What it'll do is just say I get a call or there is an issue or I'm on my way down. I've got a plan
before you get there.
When I walk in the door, I'm visually looking at it. I know where the problem is, and then I can go directly to it, and I have that plan. So it makes it a little easier. At least to get you a good start.
Like George Patton said, be prepared for battle.
Yep. And believe me,
because that's what it is.
That's exactly what it is. Believe me, every weekend it is suit up and get ready for it. Hold on tight.
Hold on tight. So are you transferring the same exact menu? I guess you're going to emulate everything from Fort Worth in Burleson.
Correct. That has been my biggest emphasis on this entire project is that we have to create
the same
atmosphere, the same, all of the, the decor, the menu, everything that we do in Fort Worth, the design. When you look at the design, when you walk into Burleson, you're actually going to see similarities of the way the layout of the actual,
because that's what works for y'all.
Because that's what works, and that's what we know, and that's all I know.
Yeah.
And so I just didn't think it was going to be a good idea for me to go try all this new stuff.
No, not a good idea. Not on this one.
No, and so it's like, you know what? We know this works. Yes, we can tweak a few things, make a few things better, and and add a little this and add a little that. But as far as the overall foundation of the structure between the different rooms, and we're going to have our big meeting rooms down there. So they can have the parties.
I bet did you make some adjustments in the kitchen?
We did, but small adjustments. But if you look at and the reason why I stayed with
because
we're antiquated in that kitchen, but it works and it's foundationally sound because I've got the numbers to show it.
Sure.
And we have learned to deal with the inadequacies. So that's not an inadequacy for us, but someone comes in from a new kitchen, they may think this is nuts, but this is how we know it. And so I designed that kitchen has got virtually the same layout. Now we have a few extra electrical outlets, and a few things that help us. We went station by station, like if you had this, what would be the best thing that would help you here? And so we went station by station and just kind of.
Did you talk to all the guys?
I did. I took all the experienced guys. That was the first thing I did was took all my, experience. On a morning, on a Saturday morning when I take all my guys, and you talk about the line cooks, my prep guys, there's probably about 140 to 160 years of experience sitting there. And so that was the first thing I did is walk to those guys and say, hey.
Yeah, is what I've seen in your restaurant, from what I've seen, that nothing ever really rattles them. I mean, no matter how busy it is, they just seem to keep cranking it out.
Truth be known, when we're slow and there's nothing going on, we're inadequate and we're inefficient. It's kind of like an enduro motorcycle bike, you got to either it's got to be RPMs high or off. And more issues for us happen during our slow times because people kind of float off. They get complacent. They don't focus on it. But when we know it's time to go, everybody in that building knows it's time to go.
Idle hands, the devil's playground.
That is no joke, believe me.
Because then they get on their phone, do whatever.
Oh, for sure, no doubt about it. Yeah, they do that all the time. They're kind of, they'll start talking. They kind of huddle up, and next thing you know, oh, oops, that type of deal. They don't get that chance. When we're busy, they know they got to go.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
So you ventilated the kitchen, and pretty much the interior is going to be the same. I mean, if you walk in, you're going to have
If you walk in, you're going to see the same. The wooden kind of like our paneling and stuff like that. Like I said, I mean, literally, like I had them peel off a portion of the paneling to recreate it exactly, color, scheme, everything. And the same thing with the lights. We're actually having the lights custom made to be exactly the way the
because you can't buy those anymore.
No,
no, you can't buy those.
No.
That'd be something funny.
Those manufacturers are long gone.
Yeah, long gone.
Yeah.
What about the chairs and stuff? They don't make. They make.
Well, they do. They make a similar chair. You know, it's a captain made chair that's what we call them. And there's a couple companies that make them in the same design. There are actually some subtle differences that a normal person would never know, but I can see from
sure.
But we have those. That's who we order from them now. But
those chairs were everywhere. Remember, they were in bars, they were in restaurants, they were in pubs, they were in they were in those casino gambling halls on the road. Those chairs were popular, man. That same exact style was everywhere.
Right.
They just just disappeared.
Yeah. And why, I don't know.
They're strong, right?
No, yeah.
Except for the 7 or 8 at a time you got.
Well, like I said, there's a few, a couple big boys in there like myself get in there and sit on them.
Have you ever had anybody just be sitting in a chair and just crumble? Ever happened yet?
Well, we've never really had one actually where it's just busted out and falling on the floor. Thank goodness. Now, Now, there's been several close calls. Like there's been a couple folks that have come in and I've seen a chair that looks like it's about to go, and I'm like, I'll run over there real quick. Like, hold on, let me go get you another one.
Yeah.
And then we'll pull it back to the.
That'd be a rodeo, wouldn't it?
That's for sure. We call it the chair graveyard. Then we'll go pull it back. And,
the chair graveyard.
Yeah, back to.
You have to think about it, and I talked about this a while ago. You got to think about the beating those chairs take, though.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, it's not like they get sit in once or twice a day. They get sit in all day long, every day, 7 days a week.
Mm-hmm. No doubt. Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, they do.
So if you had one when Rex is not at work, when Rex is not at Ol South, or he's just hanging out, what's his favorite guilty pleasure to eat?
Where's my favorite place to go?
No, guilty pleasure. Yeah. What?
Oh,
dish wise.
Oh, food wise. Oh, goodness. I'm obviously a sucker for a good steak. I mean, that's obviously the traditional response, but heck, I always, barbecue. I'm loving barbecue.
I love barbecue too.
More than I should.
I'm doing that. I've been doing best barbecue in North Texas now for almost a year.
Well, there's a lot of good spots around right
it's
now.
Impossible. I've been doing. I've narrowed down. I'm doing top 25. I'm doing it. I'm airing it on ABC. End of June, but it's just. There's a lot of it's really tough. It's tough.
There's no best anymore. There's a certain class of best, and it comes down to your personal flavor profile, which person like.
You can't. A bad barbecue place is not gonna make it.
No,
it ain't gonna make it around here.
No, you're right.
So they all just have different flavors, different ways to smoke, different. It's just we ate that new. We opened it on Belknap. That's the what's this Sonny's. They closed, but they just reopened the old one. And,
I haven't been over there.
It's good.
Is it?
It's good. Oh boy, it was good. That turkey was the best turkey I've had in about a year.
Really?
Yeah, it was delicious.
Good.
Succulent, just flavorful. Oh,
I'll tell you the place over at Heim. They've got that macaroni casserole. It's I think a green chili macaroni.
Is it good?
That one will make your toes curl.
My toes curl.
Yeah, pretty good.
So if people want to, it's olsouth.com.
OlSouthPancakeHouse.com.
OlSouthPancakeHouse.com, and it's not old.
Not old.
It's Ol. O-L.
Correct.
Kind of like people think it's Little John. It's not Little John. It's Little John.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Same concept.
Yeah. Yep. So olsouth.com, olsouthpancakehouse.com. You can buy merch, and you can buy the pancake stuff from there.
You can buy all of our T-shirts, our coffee mugs, also our German pancake mix. And
ship it right to you.
Ship it right to you. The only thing on the German pancake mix does not come with the server to make it for you at the table.
Yeah.
That's sold separately.
Separately.
Yeah.
At what's the address on University?
1509 South University
1509
Drive.
South University. They'll put it together for you.
Yeah.
So, and when Burst's going to open up March
1.
March 1.
Yeah, we're March.
2020.
Yes, sir.
2020.
2020.
That's a good television show, 2020.
I know, 2020. Yeah, that's going to be.
Isn't that weird to say 2020?
I know. It believe me, it's
It's weird.
Time's passing.
Yeah. So if you're trying to get a hold of us, as usual, we're here every Friday. But Trey's Chowdown.com has everything, all our shows. It's got our chef's guide, got our catering guide, restaurant guide, Texas barbecue guide, our podcast. all our videos from all of our TV shows. It's just amazing. So TreysChowdown.com, and that's Trey with an E, because all the good-looking, sexy Treys are with E, not with A.
There you go. There you go.
And then Spoonie Radio. Spoonie Radio is everywhere. Just at Spoonie Radio on all major platforms. And we are also, too, we have a nice big YouTube channel, Trey's Chowdown and Spoonie. Check that out when you have time. And we want to appreciate y'all for listening. And we want to next Friday we'll be here at 10 o'clock. And next Friday I have 44 Farms.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's a guy, Jason from 44 Farms. Their beef is phenomenal. So that's our show next week. And we really appreciate y'all listening. And please share and please look us up tomorrow for Blainstone Lodge at our Wagyu Cook-Off. And we'll see y'all next week on Trey's Chowdown Live. Adios.